All right, so just going to run through how to calculate speed, distance, and time using formulas. So if I give you this question here, a van travels 320 kilometers in 4 hours. What is its average speed? So you might be able to figure this out without using a formula, because speed is given in kilometers per hour. So if it's 320 in 4 hours, you might be kind of able to figure it out in your head, or using with the help of a calculator, how far it would travel in 1 hour, and then that's its speed per hour. But I think it's a good idea now to kind of introduce this formula with some slightly easier examples like this, because the formula is going to be very, very helpful for trickier examples where we mightn't be able to kind of figure it out ourselves, or kind of get there eventually ourselves by figuring it out, or getting how far did I travel in 1 hour. So we have a family of formulas for getting speed, distance, and time. They're all interconnected. And you might have seen this before, this kind of triangle here of formulas, which is a way people have of remembering it. You do need to learn these formulas by heart. So this triangle here we use to help remember these formulas is called Dad's Silly Triangle. So DST. And you might have heard that before. So the reason it's Dad's Silly Triangle is because the D needs to go on top. Okay, that's important in how we get the formula. So DST. Okay, and the way you use this triangle to get these three formulas is you cover up the one you want. So in this example here, I'm looking for speed. So if I cover up the S for speed, what's left? It's D over T. So S is equal to D over T. What does over mean in maths? What does D over T mean? It means D divided by T. So to get speed, I divide distance by time. Okay, so there's my formula for speed. It's distance over, meaning divided by time. So if you have the distance it took, if you have the distance the journey was, the time it took, divide those by each other, that's your speed. If I was asked for time, and I'm going to be asked for time in these examples down here, I cover up the T for time, and I'm left with D over S, distance over speed. So to get time, I divide distance by speed. Okay, and it's kind of straightforward enough because it is over it, and over means divided by in maths. The last one is maybe a little bit trickier to remember what you have to do. If you cover up the D for distance, you're left with S and T, and they're not over each other, they're on the same level down there. Okay, and that means you multiply those by each other. Okay, so to get distance, it's speed multiplied by time. Okay, so there's the three formulas we're going to need in speed, distance, and time. Look, remember those whatever works for you to remember those formulas, use it. Okay, but as I said, the Dad's Silly Triangle helps a lot of people, and it's what a lot of people use to remember them. So we'll return to our examples. We'll run through two examples of each formula being used, and then I'll give you some questions to do. So a van travels at 320 kilometers in 4 hours. What was its average speed? So speed is equal to distance over time. Whenever you're using a formula in maths, write the formula down. Okay? It's very easy to make a mistake when doing out a question. If you've got the formula down, if you've put stuff into the right place in the formula, you're going to get loads of attempt marks. Okay? If you don't put the formula down, if you just do the work in the calculator, put down the answer and it's wrong, 0 marks. So remember, we're always trying to show as much work as possible. And if that includes writing down a formula, write down the formula. So distance here is 320. Over time is 4. So 320 divided by 4 is 80. And what are our units? Kilometers per hour. So the kind of units in will give you your units out. So kilometers and hours in, kilometers per hour out. Kilometers per hour will be fairly standard for calculating speed, measuring speed. Next example then. So a family left their house in Dublin at 2:35 p.m. They arrive in Cork, 150 kilometers away at 4:35 p.m. What was their average speed? So what was their speed? Write down my speed formula. Speed is distance over time. Distance is 150 kilometers. Time then, from 2:35 p.m. to 4:35 p.m. that's 2 hours. So 150 divided by 2, 75 kilometers per hour. Okay, so I'm doing that sum in my calculator, but I'm writing down what I put into the calculator, 150 over 2, 150 divided by 2. All the examples I'm going to do today are going to be like 4 hours, 2 hours. They're going to be even numbers, all right? And then we'll introduce kind of half hours and quarters and different number of minutes another day, in another video with some more questions that we'll do. So onto these ones now where I'm going to be asked for how long. So I'm going to be asked for time in these ones down here. So how long would it take to drive from Barcelona to Madrid, which is 600 kilometers at an average speed of 75 kilometers per hour? So how long would it take? You're looking for time. If you cover up the T for time, you've got distance over speed. So time is equal to distance over speed. Distance is 600. Speed is 75. On the calculator, 600 divided by 75 is 8. All right. So it was kilometers and kilometers per hour in. So this time is going to be measured in hours. So 8 hours. Next example that I'm going to do. How long would the same journey take by high-speed rail traveling at an average speed of 300 kilometers per hour? So how long would it take? Its time is equal to distance over speed again. It's the same journey, so the distance is the same. It's still 600 kilometers, but this time my speed is 300. So on your calculator, 600 divided by 300 is 2. It was kilometers and kilometers per hour in, so it's hours that you get. Okay, so 2 hours for that one. Last one's then over here where I'm looking for distance. So a car travels at an average speed of 55 kilometers per hour. What distance will it travel in 4 hours? So cover up the D, you're left with S and T. So just remember these two are multiplied by each other. So distance is equal to speed multiplied by time. So that's equal to, my speed here is 55, my time is 4. So let's do that on the calculator. 55 multiplied by 4 is 220. I put kilometers per hour and hours in. I'm looking for a distance out, so it must be kilometers, 220 kilometers. Last example then I'm going to do. How far would someone walk in 3 hours at an average speed of 5 kilometers per hour? So how far, it's looking for distance, which is speed multiplied by time. Speed is 5 in this question. Time is 3. 5 multiplied by 3 is 15, and it was kilometers per hour and hours in, so it's going to be kilometers out. All right. So as I say, those three formulas you need to learn. Learn them whatever way works for you. As I say, the kind of dad silly triangle method works for lots of people and what lots of people use. There's the three of them used. Don't forget to always write your units. Okay, so most often it will be kilometers per hour for speed. Sometimes you'll get meters per second for something which is very quick or traveling very short distances maybe. Time then will be in hours. Sometimes you'll be asked to give it in minutes or seconds. Just read the question carefully. But I would say it's kind of what goes in. So hours went in here with hours out. So that's what I give my answer in. But it could be minutes, it could be seconds. Just pay attention to what you're given in the question or what they ask for. And distance then, I would say kilometers most often, meters sometimes as well. Always put the units in. I think I'm going to give you a Schoology quiz to do where it's not going to deal with the units well, so I might ask you not to put the units in there. But generally speaking, when you're answering questions in your copy, always put in the units, okay? In a 5 mark, say, exam question, like if this was worth 5 marks on an exam and you just wrote down 80 without the units, you'd get 4 out of 5, okay? 1 out of 5 marks lost is 20% of the marks for that question. It's a silly 20% to throw away. If you were able to do the question, you just forgot to put the units in.